Hello, welcome to the ranch. Some designs, they don't stick around because they work well. They stick around because once designed, living with the flaws can be easier than making the change. The Phillips screw, that's a perfect example. Most people assume the Phillips head screw is around because it's the best way to drive a screw. If it strips, we usually blame ourselves, the wrong bit, wrong speed, you're not pushing hard enough, that kind of thing. The Phillips bit was never designed to handle torque well. It was designed to fail in a very specific way. You see, the Phillips screw, it came out in the early manufacturing days. Factories didn't have torque controlled drivers. The materials they were using, they were unreliable, not that consistent, not that good. Assembly lines, they were a new thing. So the Phillips screw was designed to intentionally cam out before it was over tightened, before it broke a more expensive part. At the time, that was a feature. It cured a real problem. That problem doesn't really exist anymore. We have better materials, better torque drivers, but instead of changing the design, we just keep going with it. So rather than just stand here and talk about it, I actually want to show you what that means. This is a standard Phillips, nothing fancy, just a cheap, ordinary Phillips head screw. Don't know that that's transferring, that you can see the head, but I suspect most of you people know what a Phillips head is. So we're just going to take and we're going to drive it into this piece of hard old elm tree. A little slow starting, and then just even pressure. You can already see it's spinning out, stripping the head, damaging the bit if we proceed. We can press harder, but ultimately we're just fighting with it. Change out to a Torx head bit. You can see it's kind of got that neat star shape. Square heads are actually pretty good too, but it's easier to find these torque head screws. Same thing, kind of a slow start. Have her lined up. That's just math. We weren't doing anything different. Didn't add extra pressure. The head itself was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Same with our Phillips. Now, I hope that helps you with some of your projects and builds. I've been frustrated with these Phillips screws an awful lot, and I've switched to the Torx. So I hope that that helps with some of your frustration with builds and repairs around your place. But there's a bigger story here. Like our screw here, once you fill this, you can't unfill it. But this isn't really about screws. It's about designs. How they outlived the problem that they were intended to solve. Once things became standard, it was hard to change. People thought that the Phillips screw was meant to do everything, and it wasn't. They even had those solutions 100 years ago with square heads and torque type things, but society wasn't ready. Already had their mindset. The manufacturers were already tooled up to make those Phillips screws. They didn't want to change, and people bought into the Phillips being the perfect screw. The cost of change feels higher than the cost of inefficiency. So we live with strip screws, wasted time, and inefficiency. And we call that normal. We see this everywhere, not just in tools, but in agriculture, in businesses, in our shops, daily lives. It's how we build systems and then refuse to take another look at them. Sometimes progress isn't about inventing something new. It's about being willing to admit an old solution has run its course. The Phillips screw wasn't evil. It just stayed longer than the conditions it was designed for existed. So our little test here is actually a good reminder to stop and look, asking the question, does something still exist because it works, or simply because we're familiar with it? Well, thank you for watching. Check back in on me sometime. I'm always doing something new.